Hello, everybody. Hello. It's Monday again. I keep saying that, don't I? But it comes round so quickly that it feels like I'm saying it all the time. But hello, it's Monday. Let me sort out my laptop. See if, oh, it keeps saying trying to reconnect. You never know, do you? You just never know. No. Something is going awfully wrong. But let me just have a little look. I'm going to come out of Facebook and go back into it. I'm really sorry about this, but I really need to know if it's there because I can't see any comments on my phone. I can see some comments, and this keeps them, didn't it? But it's got nothing to do with my MacBook. I think it's got everything to do with Facebook. Facebook has been an absolute pain today. You might have seen that Lizzy has had some issues with Facebook today. Now it's telling me I've got no internet, which is totally ridiculous because I'm on my Wi-Fi. So I don't understand what it's all about. So I could be driving solo today. I don't know. Oh, actually, this is very weird, isn't it? It is very weird. Let me just try again because it looks like I've got something on my MacBook now. I've had this for the last few weeks and I've tried every which way to sort it out, but it's not having any of it. So we'll see what happens now when I get onto this. It's telling me that I'm live on my phone, or it's telling me Lizzie's live on the phone. Karen's saying it's all fine. Thank you, Karen. Karen's got my messenger, sending me a message on Messenger so I can see what's there. So, oh, well, I might have to do without it. I might have to do without it. Who knows? It's good fun, isn't it? Well, it's not. It's dead boring for you, but it's good fun. Well, okay, right. I'm just going to make it bigger. I'm afraid to press a button. Okay, I can see you. So I can see Brenda and Sue and Julie and Margaret, Lisa, Chris, Sandra. Hello. Hello, Jackie. Jackie White. I can see Jackie Thomas is sending me a message. Now it's gone black. It's just, it's just rubbish, really, isn't it? That's about all I can see. So we may or may not be going anywhere tonight with the MacBook, so I may or may not see any of your comments. So just have to bear with me. I'm so sorry. It's an absolute pain, but what can I do? So it's Monday and we're looking at Aspen. Poor wireless connection keeps trying to connect, and I'm really sorry. We'll just have to see how it goes. I'm without a MacBook. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure the girls will let me know by Messenger. I can see some comments, but I can't see what I'm doing. So that's good. That's all right. I don't have to see what I'm doing. I can look down at the desk. So all's well. All's well. So we're looking at Aspen tonight. So I'm going to show you a bit quickly. So here we've got the pattern with a right way round, which is, here we've got the gorgeous Aspen. So you'll see that she looks like an ordinary pouch, doesn't she, at first glance? A little pocket inside, if I can find it. Which side is it? Oh, it's further down. It's further down in there. Because there's a little bit of wadding in there. Let me take it out. See, you can see that I really do have a pocket. And it's much further down. So that's that. But if you look closely, Aspen's got a really weird gusset to it. It's kind of shaped and it comes to a point at the top here. Well, almost to a point at the top. And then she's got reversed, the inside becomes the outside and the outside becomes the inside, etc. So this is Aspen and we're going to make her tonight. She's really roomy. I can get my hand in and make a fist and really roomy. So I hope you like it. I hope there's somebody sewing along. I don't know whether Diana and Marge are sewing along, but they often do, as do a few other people. So hopefully we will have some to show after we've done the live. I have done a bit of preparation because there's quite a few little steps in it, and so I wanted to make sure that you saw a little bit of all of it. So I've actually done the lining, so you can see there, isn't this gorgeous? So, oh, Marge has said she's sewing along, so I am trying to refresh, but it's just not having any of it. So let's have a look. We'll see. We'll see. Now I've lost your comments. Oh, see, whose bright idea was it to refresh? No, it's having none of it on there. It's silly. I don't quite understand. Anyway, so I've done the lining. You can see that I've got the gusset in the lining, and the gusset then goes right up to the top of this because this is the lower portion of the bag. So we'll show you the rest of that later. I've done a little bit towards the zip, got that ready, I've had a look at it. It's confession time now. I was going to put a wrist strap on, but I forgot all about it. It's because I've been so excited with birthday week. I have been so excited that my memory's just gone, and I forgot to put a wrist tab on here. So I've given you some instructions in the suggestions part of the pattern, but I'm going to try and remember to put it on. So if I could really see your comments, you could shout at me, couldn't you, and say, put the strap. So what I'm going to start with is the front and the back. I've done a little bit of fussy cutting, so I've got a nice big flower that I'm going to put on the front, and a nice smaller bunch of flowers on the back. And here is my gusset. So without further ado, we'll try and refresh once more, and then if we don't get it, so it's telling me now that I've stopped altogether, and who knows. Anyway, let's poke the camera down so you can have a look at what I'm doing on my desk, and then we can start. So bear with me a second. Hello, Pauline. I just saw that on my phone, so that's a bonus. Hello and welcome. So I can see what I'm doing now, but I can't see any comments at all. So let's just leave it at that for now. Oh, here they come. Here the comments come. So I can see Leslie and Rosemary and Carol and Catherine. Yes, I do keep freezing, Catherine. You're right. I'm either too hot or too cold. I'm really sorry. There is absolutely nothing I can do about it. If I keep freezing on you, try refreshing your page. So here we are. So here are our edge, and here is the gusset. So the first thing we're going to do is to pop the gusset in. The first thing the pattern will tell you to do is to put your packet on, which I've already done. So you can read on the pattern how to do that. Easy peasy. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is to grab my scissors, and you'll see that I've done this on the gusset part. Can you see that? You can see it better on the table, I think. But you can see a little notch where I've cut. And what I'm going to do is to fold the back and the front in half and cut a little notch there so I can match those notches up. So that's the back. It's good to when you do fussy cutting, because you can tell one from the back from the front if you do different. So has everybody had a lovely bank holiday? I can see your comments now. I can see Mary from Spain and Shirley and Anita. So that's lovely. Have you all had a lovely day? Very grey here this morning, but it's been fabulous this afternoon. So I took a few hours to have a bit of a rest, and had a bit of sunshine coming in the conservatory. Sat and did a little bit of nothing. So what we're doing is matching those two up at the bottom. So it's breaking up every now and again. Just ignore and carry on. That's comments from the boss. So that's good. That's great. Thank you. Okay. So I've matched the notches at the bottom, and then this will come all the way around here, and I'm going to match at the top. So you can see what I've done there. Right sides together, and that little bit there, it's only tiny, the top of it. And what happens is that when we come to sew the other side, I will show you that it goes down into a point right at the very top. So all I'm going to do is where I'm here, I'm going to cut some little snips on what will be the curved edge, and then I'll do a few more round here. So I'm only going to put that in place. See if I can find my stiletto. It was here earlier. There it is. Sorry about the noise jangling about in my box for my bits and pieces. So okay, so we're going to start stitching. I'll turn it round to you. We're going to start stitching here. Going to go all the way around that curve, bringing those raw edges as closely together as we possibly can, and that will make our 1/4 inch seam allowance. It won't fit. If you do less, it won't fit. And if you come away from the edge of what is the side there with your gusset, that may not fit either. So we're going to try and do that as closely as we can, and I'll use my stiletto to help me and see if I can find the machine. And because I can't see what's on my right, I need somebody to tell me if that's okay, so I can see comments but not picture. Bear with. I think I now have comments but not picture. Anyway, so I've got nothing now. How annoying is this? How annoying is this? Right, I'm just going to carry on with my, oh, actually what I am going to do, sorry, I was going to do the zip first, but I've decided to go according to the pattern. So what I am going to do is just change that foot to a zipper foot, because I've got a little bit of wadding on there. And you'll see from the pattern that I've used H630. Things moving about. Come on. Sorry. It stops things moving about, and with a gusset the last thing you want is for it to be moving about, because you want it nice and accurate. You don't want any lumps and bumps and pleats and tucks. You want it to be nice and tidy and neat. So here we go. Get my thread, pop that at the back, and I think that might be a bit close. That's probably not close enough. Okay, so here we go. Stitching down, starting at the top, and we're stitching with a 1/4 inch seam, and you'll notice that that bit at the top is not very wide, and that's what we want. So that's a straightish piece. I'm going to grab my stiletto. I'm just hoping that you can see, and I'm teasing that. You'll notice that I've got the gusset on the top. We always put the straight bit onto the curved bit, or I do, and we're having those two raw edges matched up as closely as possible. And I'll try and show you this a little bit closer if you're having trouble seeing it at the moment. You can see I'm only stitching. I'm not doing anything in secret. There we go, round this next bend. Use your stiletto if you have one, because it really does make it much easier to keep those raw edges together. And I'm taking that pin out because I'm just going to readjust this. I'm just going to go backwards a little bit just to secure those ends. So I don't know whether you can see there going off, breaking up, but never mind. I've got the gusset there, and when you look at the corners, let me put the light down on there and see if you can see. So when you look at the corners, you can see that the corners, the edges are all nicely lined up. So come across to my desk. Oops, don't want to come too close. And what we're going to do now is to put the other side on. So we've got our little notch there. Okay, I'm going to try and refresh again because I really can't. So yeah, I can see that you can see what I'm doing for a minute. So I'm going to put the notches together just there, and I'll put a pin, and I'm working from the gusset side again because that's the side I'm going to sew. I'm going to pop that up there again, just to hold it there, and do the same on the other side. It's most disconcerting, this. All I'm getting is blackness. Okay, so we will now snip into the corner a little bit. Don't get any more than about 1/8 of an inch, and about, what I'm doing, probably 3/8 of an inch apart. And I'll do this one as well. You can do it as you go round if you like, but I've done this a few times now, so I kind of know where I need to go. And these are not huge big curves, so you'll find that it will go back to the sewing machine if I can find it. Oh, sorry, making you feel seasick now. There we go. Well, I think there we go. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. We're a bit skew here, aren't we? That's better. So when you start this sewing, you'll see that on the other side, actually that's the wrong side, I want this side. You'll see on the other side we can see our stitch line, and the next stitch line should be right up to, stitch right up to there, and it should be, if you use your 1/4 inch foot or your walking foot at 1/4 of an inch, you should be right on the same seam line for the first 1/4 of an inch or so. So then we come to the round bit. You might not see this very well. I'm sorry if you can't. Take the pin out so we don't go over our pin. And then we come up to the next corner. I'm hoping that you can see that I'm trying to keep those raw edges here. As I lift this up, you can see the raw edge underneath, possible. And it's only the stiletto that helps me do that, in all fairness. If I didn't have a stiletto, it wouldn't help very much. I wouldn't be able to do it very well at all. So coming back up the straight, and when we come back up, we want to make sure that we're sewing these two seams to a point. There we go. Okay, so you can see that the gusset is sewn in, and if I turn that through, you'll see that's come right up to a point. Can you see? Right. Back to my desk again without clattering all over the place. There we are. All right. So there's our gusset sewn in. It's all nice and neat and tidy. Now, if you want to use your pinking shears to just go around the edges, do that. There's not very much bulk there, especially if you're using H630. You can do that, that's no problem. So we will, because we can. So just on the curves, don't have to do it at the top because they're just straight lines on the slant. There we go. So that can go straight in my bin. And there we have it. So we can turn that inside out. You can see that I've put the contrasting gusset on. So there's the bottom of our pouch. Can you see that? Okay, I'm going to bring this up again a bit because we are a bit close. There we are. And our outer, and this is the bottom half of our lining. So we can put that to one side for a few minutes. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is the zip. And what I've done on here what I've done on the original, you can see, is to reverse those fabrics. So when you, if that's what you want to do, you just have to be aware that I'm calling this my lining fabric on the bottom. So I want it to be my outer fabric on the top. So I'm placing this face down to the right side of the zip. All right. And then what's going to become my lining, I'm facing right side to the wrong side of the zip. So this to the teeth, that to the other side. Quilter's tape on that, and I'm going to sew along there. So the zip goes to the short end. I didn't mention, but if you've got your pattern or if you've seen it, you will know that we've got templates for all these pieces. So there's a template for this one, there's a template for the bottom half, there's a template for the pocket, and there's a template for the gusset, because it's not straight. So if you try and do it without a template, you won't get the right length or the right width all the way through. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm sorry, I wish I could, perhaps I could pull this in a little bit instead of moving. Maybe you could see that a little bit better if I pulled it out. I think that's possibly better, isn't it? I can see that somebody says, thank you, they are lovely fabrics. I have to admit that I didn't choose them. These were Lizzy's choice, and so we got the same fabrics, and all the Making It Mondays and the patterns in the gold group for May in the same fabrics or in the same range of fabrics, but I bet you they'll all look different. They'll all be slightly different, won't they? Because we'll have put them in a different order, or we'll have used different ones, because we've got a range of these. These are Adita Sitar again. I used those last week on the group when I did. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to pop the zip in right side up, and I'm just going to stitch down there. You can see that I've got the zip too long, and I've got my zip slider even out of the way, so that I can stitch without having to maneuver. Always makes it a little bit easier. The pattern will tell you as well that I've used different stabilizer for the zip and for the pouch. So there's the zip sewn on. I don't know whether these lights are much good either. I don't know what's going on today. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold those back and finger press them. For now, you could press them with your iron if you want to. Don't top stitch this. It will become obvious when I put the bag together in a minute. So just push those back out of the way. If you want to use your iron, then use your iron. I'm just going to put that on there for a minute. What I've done is to put some quilter's tape on these pieces. So there's some on that piece as well. Okay, so I am going to, if I push that out of the way, you'll be able to see. That was my stiletto, can't do without that. Be able to see here, I'm pushing those back, and then I'll take, and I'm going to line that up. This is the lining that's going to become the outside, so don't forget which you've got of which, and I'm going to put that on the other side of the zip tape where the zip coil is. So that's right sides together, right side of my fabric and right side of my zip, and then I can turn it over. Actually, I haven't done that very well. Let's take it up a tad, because I was trying to show you and not looking nice. The paper off this bit, those can go in the bin, and then do the same there. So line up the edges. Don't worry about the bottoms, because they're not going to be, they're going to look as if they're a different length, but they're not. So I've got my lining, I've got my edges lined. I've got the red on the right side of the zip and the cream on the wrong side of the zip. And again, we're going to stitch down there. So bring the machine in again. Good, good. So I think you can see me. I can't see you. Just sewing along the zip. Again, I don't have to worry about the slider, because That's all out of the way, and we're going to trim the zip in a minute. Push that back again, and then we can open this and finger press it. I might even give it a little press now. Turn my iron on while I'm just pushing it back, because we've got some manoeuvring to do with it in a minute, and it's good if it's pressed, even though we're going to turn it out the other way in a sec. So at the moment I've got the cream sides up, and I'm going to press both of those so nice and crisply when you press them, and then on the what is the front as well. So don't get confused when you're sewing it together. We'll go through that again as well. Okay, so somebody said, I don't know who it is, but I can see one comment, forgot to remove the paper and it slid all over the place. Well, you won't do that again, will you? We do learn by our silliness. It is silly to forget the paper because I've done it myself, but we do learn from what we do wrongly. So there we have our zip in. What we're going to do now is we're going to bring these two red ones together, and we're going to bring those two together. So the cream ones, as they're my lining, I'm going to put a little pin in there, and I'm going to put a little pin in the other side. Okay. Then what I'm going to do this side, so what we're going to be doing is stitching down those. So this side is, we'll open our zip because we need our zip open. Don't go too far because this is open. Bear with me a second while I jammer, but it'll take 2 seconds. No much pointing. So there's a couple of stitches in there, and I might do the same the other side. Okay, so I've closed the end of my zips. What I'm going to do then, I've got those two together. What I'm going to do then is to remember to put my wristband in. So the pattern's told you how I've made it, and I've just basted the edges. So where I have my closed, I would like, you don't have to, but I would like my wristband to be on the same side as when my zip is closed. So I'm just going to place it in the middle there, and I'm going to pop a pin. My pin went flying down the back of my machine. That's too big. I don't know quite where. Oh, there it is. Right in front of me is my pin. Okay, so you see how I forgot it the last time. It's a bit like forgetting to take the paper off, isn't it? We do these things because we're human. So make sure it's at a 90-degree angle so you can see I've got it sandwiched in there. Okay, I'm hoping you can see that. All right, and then actually what I am going to do is pop a clip on it. That one. You know when you've got one clip and you can't bear to throw it away, but you don't like it and you don't want to use it? Well, perhaps you don't know, but that's what I do all the time. And I pick out that one first of all. So we're putting the same colours together, which means we're putting the outer ones together, right side ones together. Then I've got my handle, strap, wristband, whatever you call it. I'm just going to pop that there just to keep that band in place in the centre. And I'm going to stitch along here and along there. Now, if you find it a bit too bulky and you're concerned about the zip, then when you come to the zip and go down the other side, what I'm going to do is to tuck this zip coil down inside the lining and do it like that. And you'll see why I've chosen to do it like that in a few minutes. Okay, right. I'm hoping we're all good. I haven't had notification to say that we're not. So I'm carrying on regardless. Has there been a carry-on film today? There's usually a carry-on film. I'm just going to go over my wristlet a little bit more. And then you will have to just pivot a little bit to keep to your 1/4 of an inch seam allowance down the other side. So that's the one side done. The other side should be a little bit easier. I'm going to turn it over that way so I get it right. Make sure that wrist strap is out of the way. I can take that pin off now. So make sure that comes out of the way. You don't want to stitch that in, or we'll be here all night unpicking. I'm going to jump over a little bit there. Put that down. Just because my zip is a little bit bulky. Okay, pop that out of the way. So you can see that if we open that, oh, I've closed the zip now, but I can open it back up again. If you open that zip, you can see that you've got a little ring of fabric with your zip either side. I'll trim these zips off now. We know our zip sliders in the inside, so we're okay to trim those off. And we're going to open this up so that you can see it. So there's my wrist strap. And when this top part is on the top of the bag, you will see that that zip bends round a little bit. That pops the inside, that's the lining. Can you see that? And then the zip will close like that. So there we go. Now, the interesting bit about this is when I did the lining, you might or might not have noticed that I haven't left a turning gap anywhere. Okay, and there's no turning gap on that side. So what we're going to do when we put this in is we're going to leave a turning gap on the lining of one of these, and I'll show you how to do that. So making sure your zip is open, keeping your strap out. Which one we'll do first? We'll do the outside first. So we're going to turn that back in the other way. And then this red bit has to go to this bit. So we're going to put the whole lot inside the outer bag. Let me show you that again. So we've got our zip open. We've got this still right sides together. I only turned it through to show you. I have got the lining. I want that to go. Actually, that's wrong. I want it like that. I don't know why I said that. I want it to go this red up against the cream because I want it on the outside. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about where my zip is. If it opens the other side, it really doesn't matter. So yeah. So I'm going to push the whole thing down inside the outside of the bag. Like that. Make sure your wrist strap is in as well. I'm going to match up the side seams there. All right, you can have them open or you can net a clip on there. I'm going to open up the other seam. This is on what I'm going to call the zip panel, although it's the top half of the bag. And I'm going to pop a clip on there as well. Well, I found a thimble in with my clips. That's why I couldn't find it when I was hand stitching the other day. Okay, and then we just go all around the top, clip it all together, and if you've got your cutting right and you've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance correct, it will fit. If it's 1/8 of an inch, you can ease it all in together. As I haven't got an arm, a free arm on my machine, stitch from the inside. We're doing the normal seam allowance, and I'm going to stitch all the way around from the inside. So we're stitching all around that top edge, but I'm going from the inside. If you've got a free arm, you can put it over and go from the outside, and it might be a bit easier for you. So you might not see this awfully well, and I'm going to change back to my, now I've done my zip, I'm going to change back to my, if I know where it went, there it is. I'm going to change to the walking foot place. There you go. I think all I need to do is get the screw in. Oh, that went smoother than I expected. On my Bonina, it's so nice just changing the feet because it's just a little minutes away. But on this one, it's a struggle. Hey-ho, still love you. It's okay. Don't you worry. Is everybody okay? Eileen says I do. I don't know what you're saying, Eileen, but I'm glad you do. I really do. I don't know who you're saying that to. It's most disconcerting when people are talking to me. Never mind, at least you can enjoy what's being done, eh? Well, I hope you're enjoying what's being done. So I'm trying to hold this back so that you can see what I'm doing. I don't know whether you can see the whole of it, but you can see most of it. And again, to hold these edges together, it is good to use the stiletto because you can hold it a few inches away, but with your hand, and then hold it closer with your stiletto. So that's all good. I'm concentrating now, you can see, can't you? This is almost more fiddly for me than the gusset. I'm hoping if you've got a free arm, you'll find it easier. And it's difficult for you to see. All will become clear. So I've come round to the other side, cut my threads, and get rid of a few of those bits of straggly ends. There we go. So when I pull this through upwards, and that's good, that's fine. Okay, so we've got a funny shape there. I'll turn it in the other way for you to see that it is still a funny shape, but you can see it's the right side out. And you can see what the bag will look like when I tuck that in and attach it to the lining. So if we didn't do anything else, then you still got a bag from the outside. Can you see that? It looks good, doesn't it? That's the back actually, but it doesn't really matter. That was the intention. There, cut that off. So what we're going to do now is I'll turn it back the other way. And what we're going to do to attach this side to the lining, okay, leaving a gap there for turning, we're going to pop the lining right inside the bag. So I'm going to put it that way because, so right sides together, pop your lining inside the pouch. All right, I'll get it in a second when I'm, and then we want to do the same thing, is to match up those seams. Sorry, I'm holding it so far up because I can't see the other side. There we are. And again, I'm going to put a clip on and turn it round so I can match the other side, and then you'll find it'll lie a little bit flatter. Now, the top tip here is if your lining doesn't fit as well as you want it to, just take the lining out and do a little bit more stitching down here so that you bring it in just a fraction. It would only be a fraction if it wasn't going to fit. All right, but yeah, you can stitch down that lining a little bit more. But in the end, if you had a little tuck in the lining, it's right down inside. So don't worry about it. Nobody's going to look down inside. Certainly not me. So here I am again, clipping all the way around. It looks like, fingers crossed, my lining's going to fit. I'm going to use pins this side to remind me that I want to leave a turning gap. So I'm not going very far in that side before I put a pin. I'm going to leave a decent turning gap. I'm going from that side because that's the side I'm going to stitch. So you'll see I've gone all the way round. I'm going to stitch all around there like we did before, but at these pins, and if you pin, you can use double pins to show you, I'm going to stop and back stitch, so that we've got a nice. So bring this in again. I hope that's okay for you, that view. So I'm going to start at a pin. Don't worry about what's going on down inside, as long as you haven't got the wrist strap under your needle. All we're worried about is lining up these outside edges. Use my stiletto to get it under there properly. There we go. Okay, so back stitch around. As long as you've got your raw edges together, you're going to be fine. I won't say it's not a little fiddly, but it would be easier with a free arm. So it depends what machine you've got. Okay, we're just going all the way round to the next pin. Don't stab yourself on the way. Needs to be neat and the edges lined up. Just needs to be a neat seam, because it's attaching to the bag. But as I say, on the inner, you don't have to worry. So I'm just going a little way past that side seam and taking it off. So basically, that's our bag done. So we've got our zip open, we've got that all tucked down inside. So all we want to do now is we want to bring this all the way through. Where's my, there it is. So I do the lining first, change your gap, easy to turn through. There we go. Is everybody all right? I can see Zoe's watching. So the next thing we want to do, and we've got time to do it, so shall we do it? Shall we do a bit of hand stitching? There's my turning gap. You can see there's my lining. There's my turning gap. There's my zip. There's the panel I want to do. I think what I'll do is to just use my little iron, which is still hot because I forgot to turn it off. And we'll just fold these edges back by 1/4 of an inch and give it a little press, and that will be easier to get it through. Do the same on that side. Now, if you don't want to hand stitch this, I wouldn't advise putting it through the machine because you're going to have a bit of a lump on the outside, but just use some glue. This is the glue I always use. I'm not sponsored, it's just the best glue I can find. But we can have a little hand stitch if you really want me to. How's everybody doing? I'm going to see if my machine will do anything now if I come out of Facebook and come back in. We'll see what happens, see if I can see anybody there. You might have all gone home to bed. Might be having an early night or a barbecue in the garden. So I'm just going to go in at the side from underneath, so the knot that I've made is hidden, and I'm going to sew this together with a ladder stitch. So it's going to be upside down for you, I'm sorry, but I can't do it upside down. So I'm just using my ordinary machine thread. I'll try and do it fairly swiftly, so it won't be the neatest you've ever seen, possibly. Got till 10 to 8. We've got till 8 o'clock and it's 10 to 8 now. So is everybody still with me? I think I might be able to see some comments. You never know. No, I can't. I don't know what's going on with Facebook today. It's having a bank holiday, I think. Not in my thread. Don't have your thread too long because it is more likely to knot. I don't know whether you can see what I'm doing. It's probably... There we go. So I'm doing bigger stitches than I normally would do, because I like hand stitching and I don't usually mind how long it takes me, but it's a bit boring for you to see hand stitching. But I want you to see it when it's done. It's amazing how when you've stitched this bit, because it's on a bit that is at the top, when you've stitched this bit, it's amazing how it does go much flatter and the shape comes up nicely. It's a beautiful shape, this little bag. And when I finished doing my little first sample, I didn't put any interfacing on the what I'll call the zip panels at the top here on the first one, and you do need a little bit of something, so I've suggested a woven interfacing because it's fine but gives the strength I want, and I've suggested in the part that join the into the zip. If you don't have a nice fine woven interfacing, you can use a medium interfacing that's not woven. That's not a problem. Pieces, I'd just put it on what you're going to use as your outer pieces. You might decide not to change the fabrics around like me. You just might have totally different fabrics both sides, or you might do it all the same. I don't know. You do whatever you know pleases you, but only put it on what will be the outside panels if you're not using the sort of lighter woven interfacing. So that's just a top tip there that I didn't I have mentioned in the pattern, but I haven't emphasized it here. So there's our turning gap closed, so you can see the turning gap, a little bit of a press there so it sits nicely, and then we fold all of it back through the zip. So you'll need to make sure your zip is open at every turn. Pop your hand down inside, push it all right down to the bottom, and then the top sits really nicely. Give it then a really good press. I'm going to grab my Sew Flat spray and give it all a good press. Isn't it pretty? I do love this fabric. It's just so pretty. You'll give it a better press than me, but you don't want to see me pressing. Use your pokey tool to, I use the what I call the blunt end. The other one isn't sharp, but the bigger, fatter end, to get those two pieces of fabric all around the outside, all nicely sitting, nudging together. I want to push my zip out a little bit. You won't get it all the way out because the fabric is shaped, and that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be going over at the top and shaped here at the sides. So there we are, and we have our little wrist strap on where the zip closes. Well, that was fortunate, wasn't it? I can't see you. You can't see as well as if I bring it up here. So Sarah says thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for sticking it out. So there's our little wrist strap. So when you come to pop your bits and pieces in, you can hold it however you want, or let it hang free. If you don't want a wrist strap on it, use it without. You can just use it as a pouch, whatever you like. And then you've got pretty fabric, open it up, and you've got pretty fabric at the top inside as well to match your outer fabric. It is actually, Jackie, it is a nice little evening bag, and I think you'll enjoy it when you come to making it. It's just gorgeous. And then there's the back, or the front. I put that one on the front. It's lovely and pretty, isn't it? And then my little posy of flowers on the back. How nice is that? And then you can see, if I just show you closely, that that comes to a point, more or less. That's what I wanted. And that side to a point as well. So, job of... There we go. So, we finished early as well. I'm sorry about the basically the signal, I suppose. I'm sorry that it kept coming and going. I know it makes it annoying for you, but thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for being with me tonight. I've really enjoyed making it up for you. I hope you have a look at the pattern and decide to make some, because I'd love to see loads in the group, in the Making It Monday group. I'd love to see your pictures, see what you've done with it. So next week for Making It Monday, it will be Lizzy's turn. So she will, Linda says, especially lovely for weddings or evenings out. Yeah, because you only need your phone and a purse, don't you, and a handkerchief and a lipstick. That's all you need. So, and if you want to, put a long strap on it and then you can put crossbody. I don't tend to carry bags on my shoulders because of lots of reasons. So I like a bag with a wrist strap for going. So yes, Lizzy's next week, next Making It Monday next week. If you're in the Gold or Platinum group or Lizzy's Fabulous Sewing group, then we'll see you on Thursday. Liz will be here on Thursday with you, doing some lovely things on Thursday, so don't miss that. It'll be fantastic. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. What's left? Is everybody back to work tomorrow? I am, but then I've worked today, so it doesn't matter. So you take care, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye for now. Bye.